Queen Elizabeth II. Hi everyone. In this video, I thought it would be good for us to get to know Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth II was born on the 21st of April, 1926 in Balmoral Castle, Aberdeenshire, Scotland. She was the eldest daughter of Prince Albert, Duke of York, and his wife, Lady Elizabeth Boscawen. Since her father was the younger son of the then King George V, Princess Elizabeth was said not to have much of a prospect of acceding to the throne. This all changed when on the 11th of December, 1936, her uncle Edward VIII abdicated in favor of his brother Albert. As soon as her father was crowned king, she became heir presumptive. Her education was supervised by her mother and her governess Marion Crawford. She was taught history by C.H.K. Martin, who would later become provost of Eton College. She also received instructions from visiting teachers in music and languages. During the Second World War, she and her sister Princess Margaret spent most of their time safely away from the London Blitz and separated from their parents. They mostly stayed in Balmoral Castle and at the Royal Lodge in Windsor and in Windsor Castle. Elizabeth was 13 years old when the Second World War broke out. But in 1944, she turned 18 and insisted on doing her share in the war efforts. She became the first woman in the royal family to become a full-time member of the armed services. It was a decision which shaped her life and reign. She enlisted in the Auxiliary Territorial Service, or the ATS, in February 1945 at the age of 18. As a member of the ATS, she chose to learn about driving and vehicle maintenance as well as mechanics theory and map reading. She learned how to service, maintain, and drive army vehicles as a member of the ATS. During her training, Elizabeth worked about 7 hours a day and would return to Windsor Castle each evening. After 5 months of training, she was promoted to Honorary Junior Commander. She soon graduated as a fully qualified driver. Before she could apply her skills, the war ended. In 1947, Princess Elizabeth visited South Africa with her parents. Upon her return, her engagement to a distant cousin, Lieutenant Philip Mountbatten, was announced. Philip was also formerly Prince Philip of Greece and Denmark. They were wed at Westminster Abbey in 1947. Princess Elizabeth was 21 years old at that time and Prince Philip was 26. Upon their marriage, King George VI conferred the titles Duke of Edinburgh, Earl of Merioneth, and Baron Greenwich to Philip. They also chose to reside at Clarence House in London. Their first son, Prince Charles, was born a year later in November 1948. A second child, Anne, was born in August 1950. In 1951, the health of King George seriously declined. At this point, Princess Elizabeth started representing him in various royal engagements. In October of 1951, she and Philip set out on a tour of Canada and Washington, D.C. After spending time in England for Christmas, Elizabeth and her husband set out for the next leg of their tour. They would go to Australia and New Zealand. While en route, however, they were informed of the King's death. They were immediately flown back to England. For 3 months following her father's death, she chose seclusion. This was a period of mourning for the family and for the country. By summer of 1952, Elizabeth and the rest of her family would move from Clarence House to Buckingham Palace. She was crowned on the 2nd of June, 1953. Charles now became heir presumptive upon Elizabeth's accession to the throne. He was invested as Prince of Wales in 1969. Prince Andrew was born in 1960. 4 years later, in 1964, Prince Edward was born. Upon the marriage of Prince Andrew to Sarah Ferguson in 1986, he was created Duke of York and his wife Duchess of York. Prince Edward was created as Earl of Wessex and Viscount Severn in 1999 upon his marriage to Sophie. Together, they became Earl and Countess Wessex. Upon their birth, Andrew and Edward respectively became third and fourth in line to the throne. Because of the Bill of Rights and the Act of Settlement, which indicated that female children are bumped down the line of succession in favor of younger male siblings. Anne, became lower in the line of succession upon the birth of her siblings. Anne married Mark Phillips in 1973. In 1987, Queen Elizabeth gave her the Princess Royal title. This is not a formal title, but one given to the eldest daughter of the sovereign. It is an honorary title. Elizabeth and Philip's children were surnamed Windsor until 1960, when Elizabeth decided that all children not styled prince or princess would be surnamed Mountbatten-Windsor. In 1977, Princess Anne gave birth to Peter Phillips, the Queen's first grandchild. 4 years after, in 1981, Zara was born. In July 1981, Prince Charles would marry Lady Diana Spencer. A year after, on the 21st of June, 1982, their son William was born. 2 years after, Prince Harry was born. By that time, Queen Elizabeth had 4 grandchildren, 2 from Prince Charles and 2 from Princess Anne. In 1988, Sarah, Duchess of York, would give birth to Princess Beatrice. 2 years after, in 1990, Princess Eugenie was born. Lady Louise Mountbatten-Windsor was born to the Earl and Countess Wessex in 2003. After 4 years, her brother James was born. After the death of Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth, the title Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh was returned to the crown. It was said to have been promised to Edward by his mother. On Edward's 59th birthday, King Charles conferred the title of Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh to Edward and Sophie. James became Earl of Wessex when his father was created Duke of Edinburgh. All the children who were not styled prince and princess were to carry the surname Mountbatten-Windsor. Thus far, only Lady Louise Mountbatten-Windsor is using such surname in formal and legal transactions. Queen Elizabeth was considered a formidable woman during her reign. She lived a life of service, of charity, and of duty. She put her commitment to duty over and above everything in her life. She would reign for 70 years until she was 96 years old. She died on the 8th of September, 2022, just 2 months after the nation celebrated her Platinum Jubilee. She died a year after her husband Philip, after battling numerous health issues at the age of 99, would pass away. He died in April 2021 at the age of 99. Queen Elizabeth was the last of her immediate family to die. She lost her mother and sister one after the other, first in February 2002 with the death of Margaret and a month after with the death of her mother in March. Queen Elizabeth's life was remarkable. What do you guys think? Do you believe she was one of the late great leaders of her time? Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, don't forget to like my videos and subscribe to my channel. For now, have a nice day. Bye.